I have never voted. Never in my life. I have never exercised this right of voting in my country, in Chile. Never. I hope you don't judge me on this one. I have never done it because even when I was young, 17, 18, I never felt represented. All this idea of going to vote, I don't know why, because I was super young, I could have felt really involved in this. For me, it was just theater. And next April, 26 April, in Chile, there will be a referendum about writing a new constitution. I must point out that currently in Chile, we are working with the constitution that was written in 1980 under the dictatorship of Pinochet. This is the constitution that we use now. And there are some crazy things in the constitution. I don't know, for example, for you lawyers, in Chile, the waters, the river waters, flowing waters, are private. It's the only country in the world where water is private. Could you imagine that? It's crazy. It's crazy. So, for the first time in my life, I will vote in April 26 in Chile. And you know, the people that don't want to change the constitution, one of the main claims is that how all these people, about 80% of the population that is going to the streets, how all these people want to change the constitution if they don't have read the constitution ever. They don't understand nothing about it. Well, the point is that do we really need to understand how something is made to understand what it does? Do you understand what's happening inside your mobile phone? Do you understand what is happening with your car inside? No. But you understand the consequences. You can drive a car, you can use your laptop. And that's the way human beings create knowledge. As a matter of fact, we are not able to see what is happening inside the core of an atom. Where are the subatomic particles? Although we understand what is happening inside the core of an atom. You know why? Because we have created some kind of machine that measure the consequences. We are far away of going that deep, that tiny. We are not able to do that in a technical way. It's impossible, but we understand it. So how can we understand the consequence of a constitution? By its consequences. So a citizen like me, I have never read the Constitution of Chile, but I understand a lot of its consequences. I can see that you as Kenyans may understand the consequence of the Kenyan constitutions. So that gives you an idea. And when something is wrong, you don't need to read what is inside because you see that the consequences are not going well. I realize that today there is a lot of, how can you say, when you don't trust in artificial intelligence. For example, right before lunch, the discussion here. Well, with artificial intelligence, it's more or less the same. We have constructed something that we don't fully understand, but we are living its consequence. Some of its consequences are lovely, simplify our life, but some other consequence, like, oh, I did go too fast there. No, it's this one. Some other consequence put a president in United States, for example. Do you agree with me? So that's the way humans evolve. We make huge mistakes. We understood that nuclear energy is amazing, but destroying a lot of people and a huge part of a country during a war. So we are kind of stupid human beings. Sorry I am a human being too, but I need to say this. So, what about this consequence of artificial intelligence that mix up with us? Well, artificial intelligence is our present and is our future. It will be there. We cannot walk around. We have to face it. It will be there and could be the instrument that create the huge inequality on the world. And there are people working on that direction. Also, it could be the instrument that will improve the quality of life of all humanity and maybe could even bring a balanced way of living in this period of time. On the other side, as I said before, and as someone pointed out here, human beings, we don't want to assume this, but we are full of flaw. We are full of flaw. We think that we are perfect, the only animal on earth who is capable of reasoning. But we are not that cool. I prefer to think about human being as an animal who is emotional and who is biologically equipped with the skill of reasoning. But that's not the warranty of us being reasonable. We're not reasonable animals. So that's on one sense. As we are easily manipulated, the point is we have this kind of situations. We already know about Cambridge Analytica, but behind Cambridge Analytica is this group who is still working. Cambridge Analytica stopped existed. Now it's called Emerdata. Emerdata keep doing the same. As we are really easily manipulated, and we understand that now, thanks to something that's called behavioral science, these people working on that. Cambridge Analytica didn't manipulate the votes. Cambridge Analytica, what it does, manipulates the population. Thanks to your data, because since like 10 years ago, we give all of our data to these kind of companies, Facebook, Gmail, etc., etc. We tell all our life. That's why it's super, super important that we construct as human beings something that can protect our data. This idea that Johannes talked this morning about, how we call it, it's not cyber identity, but it's somehow we can call it like that. It's a nice idea that we can protect our identity and we can have a lot of information there. But let's keep going with the way we manipulate a country, the apparently most powerful country in the world. Really easy. We don't need to manipulate the whole population. Those are the voters. 250 million voters in the United States. Turn out 140 million. How many people were targeted by Cambridge Analytica? Just 220,000. 220,000, that is about 0.1% of the voting population. Nothing. Consequence or conclusion, you can manipulate 0.1% of the population and you control a country. It's crazy. This is power. You know why? My idea is because of the voting system. And to prove this, I will make you vote again. You have to pick the best animated film, in your opinion, between Shrek, Ogu and Mampato, Despicable Me, Toy Story, Condorito, and the Ice Age. I will not show the results because, you know, when you vote, if you see the opinion of others, that influence your opinion. So now I will not show the results until the end. 20 seconds left. 15 seconds left. There we are. Who's the winner? Despicable Me. Ice Age in the second place. Okay, so what is happening here? This is the way we vote right now. This is how we are voting today in France, in Chile, in Kenya. You only can manifest your opinion about one candidate. You cannot manifest your opinion about all the candidates. Have you thought about that? Have you ever reflected about this? Besides, let me ask you a question. Could you manifest a negative opinion? What if tomorrow in Kenya arrives the reincarnation of Hitler? And in somehow this guy arrived to control 10% of the population. Could you say, maybe there are 5 other candidates, none of them you like, but you don't want the reincarnation of Hitler? Could you say that in the paper? Could you express this when you vote? No. You cannot express a negative opinion on a candidate. You cannot express your opinion in all the candidates. You cannot express intensity of your opinion. Maybe there is someone that you like, but you don't like him that much. Maybe there is someone that you completely dislike. You cannot say that. And that's the way we vote now. Have you ever reflected a little bit about this? That's my point. And what about these guys? What happened with the media? How the media treat these guys? The candidates that have maybe some beautiful ideas, but nobody knows them, so nobody votes on them, so they have like what, 1%? And what the media does? They dismiss these guys. They are even violent. Are you agree with me? So finally, the discussion goes to the next level, and we will be voting between Despicable Me and Ice Age. All the rest of the candidates does not exist. So what are we creating there? Polarization. That's what are we creating. Polarization. That's why it's so easy to manipulate us. Because as we arrive to this second round and we are polarized, we can only go either to the left, either to the right. There are some people who is sure, I am here on the left. There are some people who is sure, I am here on the right. But there are some people swinging, people that are not sure, completely sure. Those are the people Cambridge Analytica target. And those are the ones who are manipulated. And it's really easy to manipulate. Why? Because you only need to push to one side or the other. So I only need to send in your Facebook, in your Gmail, in your Instagram, in your Twitter, beautiful stories about the side I want you to go, and awful stories about the side I don't want you to go. So I put you in one direction. And honestly, human beings, we are easily manipulated. So what happened after? This is the other votation. So, well, people voted here, but let me show you something. Do you remember this guy? This guy was in 0. Now he's not in 0. You don't know him. You know why? Because this guy is a movie from Chile. It's an animated movie from Chile. I put it there on purpose. It's an experiment that I am doing with you now. Sorry. So, you care about him. Besides, this guy is not so far away from the others. Despicable Me has a good average. Ice Age, Shrek. This is interesting. Let's see what happened with Shrek. You see, Shrek, there are some people who like, and there are some people that don't like Shrek. And you see this in this curve. This curve is what we mathematicians call the distribution. This information, we don't see it with our current voting system. This information is information about our society, about the social, political, and economical weather of our society. And we are not taking in consideration this information because of the voting system we use. we are forced to see white and black. Well, we are a lot of colors. Do you see the difference? This guy was also unknown for you. Now, we are forced to take into consideration even the small candidates. So, we force media to create integrative speech. We need to integrate the community, not to create divisions. That's a major value of this kind of voting systems, in contrast with our current voting systems. So let's go back to Cambridge Analytica and what I think could be a solution to this. I didn't tell you this story. I didn't force you to think nothing. We experienced this. This is what will happen now. All our voting system is about create division, polarization. In that way, this speech that belongs to 100 years ago, come on, we are in the 21st century. I cannot believe we are still believing that we are in one dimension. We live as multidimensional beings. Division and polarization. So, manipulate elections is an easy job. And that's what Cambridge Analytica does with your data. So, this is my point. Artificial intelligence could be amazing, but also could be really bad and have really bad consequences. Because we human beings are a little bit addicted to power. And a thing like Cambridge Analytica is power. But if we change our voting system, like this, like this guy, there is no polarization. It became way more difficult, and here I'm talking from a technical point of view, the computational cost of manipulating a votation where you have a lot of options and where you have to express your opinion on all candidates is amazing. Today is impossible. Cambridge Analytica today will not be able to manipulate a votation as the one you have just done, grading the candidates. That is not the ultimate solution. It's just a step. That's the way human beings evolve. We make an improvement, things became good for a while, couple of years pass, and there are some other human beings that found the trick to take advantage of something. For me, this is the next step. This is our current stage. Left, right, one-dimensional. Like if we were one-dimensional. Are we just black and white? I don't think so. In that way, it's really easy to push you in one direction or the other one. It's really easy to manipulate you. But if I ask you to express your opinion in all the colors, in all the candidates, if you don't like a candidate, you can put it there. You give a bad grade to him. I don't want this guy. I don't like the other ones, but this guy, I don't want him. If that happens, we will be creating a barrier to Cambridge Analytica issues. And also, we will be getting a better understanding of ourselves, our society. So, interestingly, the problem here is artificial intelligence through Cambridge Analytica. And what I think is the solution is not from artificial intelligence. Voting systems, believe it or not, they have been studied for mathematicians, economists, and scientists doing social science for more than 200 years ago. It's an old topic, 200 years. So you see, for me, it's a 200 years old solution for a current problem. Thank you very much.